Colorado. Let's go. Welcome back to another edition of Inside Colorado Basketball Hoops presented by Uprise and Uprise TV. Listen, you guys, I'm super excited. If this is your first time, welcome to the show. For everybody else who's been here before, who's been rocking with us for the last 6 episodes, it has been an amazing journey. I am your host, the mouth of the South, B. Jones, the OG, all things Louisiana. I'm gonna put your L's up, and I'm riding alongside my partner in crime, my brother from another mother, the head coach, KT. And we are Sports Life Talk. Y'all can follow us at Sports Life Talk. Kev, how you feeling today, man? Playoffs is on and popping. And I don't know, Kevin. I'm super excited about this show and what we've been seeing over the past 3 weeks with Colorado basketball, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, B. Jones. There's been a lot of upsets too, B. Jones, that we didn't see coming. So I can't wait to talk to our guest so he can, fill us in on everything.
Well, we're going to jump right into it, but before we do that, we got to pay the bills. Y'all, Uprise Hoops has been doing some amazing things in the state of Colorado. They brought you this show. They wanted you to have a good time, and they wanted to give some additional content to the state of basketball in the Box State. So listen, you guys got to learn more about Uprise Hoops. Uprise Hoops has a mission. That's right. That mission is to help players, teams rise to the highest level of basketball through showcase events, recruiting representation, consultation, player development. They are doing it all. Uprise Hoops specializes in helping you get from where you are now to where you want to be. So if you can look at yourself in the mirror right now and say, hey, I need help recruiting. I need a little bit of additional exposure. You got to call Uprise Hoops. Listen, y'all go learn more about them on their website. Visit uprisehoops.com today. And if you want to learn more, tag us in. Ask us. Slide in our DM, hashtag rise to the highest level. Listen, we're gonna make today short and sweet. We're not gonna just steal time right now because we got a long one for you. We're about to break down the playoff brackets, and we're getting close to the very end in this thing. Let's bring them in, ladies and gentlemen. We brought them back for week 3. Ryan Garland of Colorado Hoops. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's jump right on in. It is that time. We got him back, ladies and gentlemen. Colorado Hoops extraordinaire, Ryan Garland. He has been all over the scene with a gangster lean in the stadiums, in the bleachers, on the sidelines. And we got a breakdown for you today. Buckle up. We got a long way to go. We got a lot of teams, a lot of games to cover. And Ryan, I don't know. Let me roll the dice. Let's see. You know what? My mom always say ladies first. Let's kick it off on the girl side of things. Ryan, let's go. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. KT came on the prediction show last week and told y'all that Riverdale Ridge was going to shock the world. He told you he was a big fan of. Tell us what transpired this weekend, man. How did we get to this point to where a double-digit seed, number 14 team in Riverdale Ridge has now made it into the Final Four, man?
Yeah, they've had quite a run. I mean, taking down 2 of the arguably top 5 teams in the state with beating Broomfield at their home court. That was crazy environment there. Sold out crowd at that Broomfield house. So that was a crazy environment. They were able to win on Bree was playing really well, and Shea Visual has been stepping up lately, really playing well in both that Broomfield game and then the second big game they won this past weekend against Highlands Ranch. Those 2 played really well. Chloe Parker played a good defensive role, handled the ball well. That core trio has been really balling out for them and making the story for them. They showed that they're deserving of a higher seed beating these teams, so made it all the way to the Final Four as the 14. Big time stuff.
Let me ask you a question, Ryan. I do want to ask, why were they ranked 14? That doesn't seem right.
Because basically it's measured by the RPI and the max preps stuff. So because their league schedule isn't as strong, that's what really took them down a lot. They were beating on these teams by a lot, but these teams were all teams that didn't have great records. So that's a big reason why their record went down, or their seeding went down.
Bump that, KT.
I'm a little offended because if you got Bree on the team, There's no way you should be less than a 10 in anything.
The bottom line is you mess around and you find out. That's what happened in Colorado. They ran against a monster in Bree Crittenden. But let's talk about some of these other teams. Grandview, business as usual. Top player in the country, in my opinion, at least number 1 or 2 player in the country with Sienna Betts is putting the state on her back. And Grandview has won along business. And then, unfortunately, a team that I was super rooting for, Cherry Creek, took an L. And now we got this matchup of Pine Creek versus Grandview. Tell us, how do we get to this point, and what is your expectation in this Final Four matchup on March the 13th?
Yeah, I mean, these two teams, Grandview's been, they're the number 1 seed coming in, and we had Valor Christian ranked over them, and Valor Christian just got knocked out. So Grandview's really the team to beat in 6A right now, having, like what you said, number 1 player in the nation, Sienna Betts, and then Ava Chain next to her, who's really been balling out in these playoffs as well. And a few of their role players have stepped up this last game. They kind of had an even scoring performance across the board, had a Deja Roberson and Maya Smith play some really solid roles. So if they're able to get that out of those girls next game, I mean, yeah, they're tough to stop. And then coming in against them, Pine Creek, I mean, that group is tough. They're led by one of the top players in the nation, Brooklyn Stewart, who's going to OU next year. She's really been playing well, two-way monster, communicator on both ends of the floor. So that's going to be a blockbuster matchup down low between Brooklyn and Sienna Betts. I mean, 2 of the top players in the nation, and then with good teams around them who've shown that they can make it this far to the Final Four. So it's going to be a blockbuster match. It's a good potential matchup for a team who could go up and take down that monster of a group at Grandview.
I got to ask you a question, and I know there's people going to be like, you just can't do that, but I like to play the what-if game. If we were to take those 2 monsters off, Brooklyn Stewart, who shout out to her, we saw her play during the summer. She took over a game when Sienna had like Team USA or something like that, and Brooklyn Stewart went like nuts for hardwood at least. So we know she got that juice. But we take Sienna, we take Brooklyn off. Tell us, what would these teams look like? Because what I'm trying to figure out is we know that those dogs going to do what dogs do. I'm talking about, they barking. So I'm trying to figure out what the rest of these players going to do when they come to bringing up the rest of the team and really making a statement. Are there some other players that we need to be looking out for?
Definitely. We'll start with Pine Creek down south. Their guard is really, really fun player to watch, Lakea Perryman-Burke. She's a gritty defender. She's on the smaller end, around 5'2", 5'3", but she uses it to her advantage. She gets under opponent's skin on the defensive end, gets some steals. And then she's one of the better passers in the state, so she's good at setting up her teammates, setting up Brooklyn and some of their other players, like Allie Dreesen. She does a good job setting up dish passes for her where she can finish around the rim. And then Brenna Hallman had a good game last time. She shot it well. I think she's mainly a soccer athlete, but she can shoot the ball and is a good athlete. So she stepped up for them. That's an interesting group. And then we'll hop over to Grandview side. The two I touched on before, the role players who played well last game. Maya Smith, she's a good shooter. I think knocked down 2 or 3 threes in the last game. And then Deja Roberson, I mean, she does a good job of doing some of the dirty work at Grandview, setting some screens, getting downhill, rolling downhill, looking for those finishes around the cup. And then Ava Chan's been balling out on a different level. She's one of the top sophomores in the state. Truly has that ball on the string, can put the ball in the bucket from 3 levels. So she's a fun player to watch for sure.
Well, you know what? Will Smith told me back in the day, he said, I am legend. And I think as much as we love Bree on this show, and we love the Cinderella story of Riverdale being disrespected, being slept on in all of the rankings, Legend has done the same thing. Let's not pretend that Legend is one of the top 4 seeds and was expected to be here. They ranked number 7th, and it looks like they've had they had to pop some people in order to get to this point. And one of those teams was somebody who we thought very highly of in Valor Christian. Tell us a little bit about this Legend team and give us your breakdown. Legend versus Riverdale Ridge.
Yeah, so they against that last game, I mean, they came out swinging. I can't say I was expecting them to come out firing like that against Valor, and they've and they didn't slow down throughout the game. They held that lead for most of it, and it's a talented group across the board. I mean, they're one of the deepest teams in the state. They're led by Mason Borcherding, who's committed to Boise State. She's around 6'1" forward. She really in the post this past game was being assertive when she was getting it, making her moves, creating contact, which I really like to see. And then around her, they have two Mayleys on the team. Mayley Wilhelm is a good cutter, good shooter from outside. She had some nice baskets last game. Mayley Starnes is one of the only juniors on the team. She does a good job of playing kind of a combo guard role for them. And last game, who really balled out was Grace Stanley, who's going to UCCS next year. She had some good plays on both ends, but really she was slanging the rock, as someone said, finding open teammates. Had like one stretch where it was 4 or so possessions in a row where she just had assist on like finding teammates. So very impressive game from her. It's a super deep group, but that's going to be quite a matchup, Riverdale Ridge versus them.
What's your prediction? Because I don't want to ask Kevin because I already know what Kevin's going to say. But what's your prediction right now, Ryan? Who plays in this championship come Saturday afternoon?
Who plays in the championship? That's tough. I'm going to have to go with I'm going to have to go with the blockbuster matchup, the top player from the class of 2025 in Colorado versus the top player from the class of 2026. I want to see Grandview versus Riverdale. That'd be kind of fun.
That's a yee ball.
Yeah, that was the correct answer, Ryan, because if you said anything else, I was probably going to kick you out. I was going to boot you out the studio.
Hey, the stars have been showing up, so I'm going to roll with it.
And you know what? We got to go over here to the 5A and talk some 5A basketball. But I hate to say this, but it sounds like from the point they laced up their sneakers last summer and they decided they were going to all go to school at Air Academy, it's been theirs to lose because Air Academy ain't lost to nobody. I'm talking about not a damn person. And they are on their way charging pretty hard. They've handled business up to this point, but they got a feisty, they got a nasty Green Mountain team. Shout out to Green Mountain too. Because Green Mountain boys and girls have both made it to the Final Four. So I know they're having a lot of fun at school this week. But Air Academy, Green Mountain, break this thing down to us.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. I mean, Green Mountain showed that they're a team who has some depth to match some teams that went out this past weekend and beat Roosevelt, who we've seen in the Coliseum many times before, making deep runs, making championship runs recently. So that's a huge win for them. Their younger group. On the come up right now out of that Jeffco League, led by Canton Pearson, who's a big guard, skilled player, can put it on the floor, can create for others off of the dribble. They have a group of sophomores who've been playing well. One of them is Ella Cockrum. She kind of plays a game across the board, even player, a guard who, contributes in a bunch of ways. And then another sophomore, Addie Evans, I believe she plays volleyball as well, but she's a taller player, plays a forward down the post, pulls down a lot of rebounds, rim protector, presence for them. They're a deeper group. They're gonna, obviously have their hands full with Air Academy, but we'll see if they can keep it rolling. Took down Roosevelt, the former champ. So
that's right. So let me ask you this question, because Air Academy has stapled. I'm talking about they have pretty much put up not double digits. We talking about 20-point leads on everybody. They beat 76-19, 70-48, 55-25. They found a way to not just beat teams, but to whoop them into submission. Does Green Mountain have what it takes to take this thing down into the final minute and make this an interesting game?
I'll say Green Mountain is definitely a level above a lot of teams that Air Academy has seen lately. Like Durango's a solid team, don't get me wrong, but it's a little bit of a different game. Sometimes coming from the western slope, coming down to Denver, right? That's a 7-hour trip for them, so it's an overnight. It's a whole different experience versus Air Academy. They're only coming up from the Springs, and they have a group of girls who've been there before. it's going to take a lot for Green Mountain to beat them, but I mean they have more depth than a lot of teams that Air Academy has seen in their division and in the playoffs. So.
Kevin, off the run.
B. Jones, you got to give them credit though. You didn't talk about Green Mountain where they were popping people.
Yeah,
they won by like 42 points in the first round.
Kevin, I'm mad at Green Mountain. They sent Kyler Hoyer home. You know, I was rooting for Kyler. So, I mean,
they won by 42, by 24. Goodness. Mm-hmm. So, we got to give them their credit, too.
Nah, I'm excited about what Green Mountain is going to be able to do. Shout out to that team. Shout out to that high school. They've earned it the hard way. And they got a tough task on the 13th, but we rooting for them, and hopefully they'll make that a good game. Let's take it to the other side of the bracket. Number 2 Meade has number 6 Mullen, and anytime you knock off one of those top 4 teams, it was kind of like they ain't supposed to be here, right? And Mullen went and played the Windsor team, who was ranked number 3, and now they got, like I said, the number 2 team, which I think a lot of people like myself love those 1-2 matchups, but Can Mullen make some noise on this?
Definitely. So Mullen's a team for people who maybe from like outside of Colorado who don't know the scene as well. They play in the Centennial League, which they're the only 5A team in. So they're going up against teams like Cherry Creek, Grandview, Cherokee Trail, like in their league. So they play them most of the time they play them twice a season, depending on the tournament. But so they're going up against a whole different caliber of teams in a lot of these 5As. So they come in having a not as good record in seeding because they've lost more games, but they've seen more talent and experience in a lot of these other groups. So they're definitely a team that has a 6 seed, but they're not, once again, like not a 6 seed, I would say. Yeah.
So now that we got this matchup with Mullen and Meade. Meade was the number 2 seed. They have done business as they are supposed to. They took care of all the people, all the challenges in their way throughout the season. They've handled them, and now they here with the number 6 team looking at them. Break down the matchup. Meade versus Mullen. Who you got against the winner of the of the Green Mountain Air Academy game?
I got Air Academy in that one.
But no, we know you got Air Academy, but who wins out of Mullen and Meade?
So this is actually a rematch. This happened earlier in the season, and Meade got them earlier. But being at the Coliseum, sometimes shooting's different in there, and Mullen has a big team, so they've relied on Tatum Jones last week and played out of the post, and we're able to really see good results out of that. So I think Mullen's gonna take down Meade in that game. I think they got the size and the experience coming in.
Kevin! Upset alert! That's an upset alert. Okay, all right.
So, B, who do you got though, B? That's the real question.
You know what? I'm rolling with Air Academy. I got a strong feeling in order to beat a man, you got to beat the man, and Air Academy ain't done nothing but put paddle the butt on everybody in that damn face.
You were asking me overall? I thought you meant just for the
no. I was talking about me versus Kevin.
Okay.
You know what, Kevin? I'm gonna roll with the underdogs too, man. But I kind of want to see Meade handle it. I want the 1 versus 2 matchup, Kevin. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just feel like Air Academy is so strong, and even though they play some close games throughout the year, I just think it's gonna take a really, really, really good basketball program to come and knock them off in this championship game. So Ryan, we about to talk a little bit of small school. We got 4A to 1A. Give us some teams to watch, players to watch. You brought up something crazy before the show, and I don't know who just mad at 4A. I don't know what they did to these people growing up, but 4A got to play 3 games in a 4-day span. Is absolutely nuts.
It's all the small schools got to play.
All the small schools, that's crazy. From Wednesday to Saturday. Yeah. I just can't believe that, man. Any teams we got to watch? Do we get the opportunity to look forward to seeing them do their thing this weekend?
Yeah, definitely. For 4A girls, University is definitely the favorite coming in. They've been balling out, but they do have a challenge coming up in this grade A. They see Evelyn, who's been traditionally a team who's a winning program. and they've won a lot of games this year. They lost a few tough ones to Gold. I think Golden was one that they lost, but that's going to be an interesting one for University. I mean, University is definitely the favorites, but they're seeing a good program there. And some other 4A teams to look out for. Timnath has really been playing well. If you don't know where Timnath is, it's a newer, I guess, suburb of Fort Collins, kind of, or community near Fort Collins up northern Colorado. So it's only been a school for, I think, 3 or 4 years, but they've really seen a lot of good talent go up there. So that's a team to look out for sure. And then Colorado Academy had a big upset over Eaton this past week. So them coming into the grade A, they're a Cinderella story to look out for.
Well, good luck to all of the 4A small schools, 3A, 2A, 1A. I can't wait to see y'all do y'all thing as well. Ron, I got to stop. I got to ask you a question before we get into the boys basketball side of this thing.
Let me touch on a few more of the.
Okay, my apologies.
No, you're good. You're good. So we'll dive into 3A. I think 3A, the favorites, Res Christian's been really balling now. They're led by Olivia Klein. I mean, they're the definite favorites in that division. Centauri, I think, can make some noise. I think it's La Jara, Colorado. It's a small town, but they've really produced a lot of good basketball teams on both the boys and girls side. So they're a potential group to look out for. And then Denver Christian, they have Camarie Fuller, who's can really shoot the ball. They're an interesting group. They went out and beat some teams like Peak to Peak this year, so that's an interesting group to watch in the 3A. And then I'll say real quick, some of the 2A favorites. Moreno is a team that went out and had a huge season last year, brought back a good group, so they're the 2A favorites this season. Some interesting teams to watch out for to take them down is potentially Simla and Sanford. And then 1A, the favorites have been McClave all season long, so they're the group to beat down in the 1A division.
Ooh, hey, Kevin, I got appetite for smoke. I can't wait to see it. Oh, my goodness. So many big names. It's the bright lights are shining. That's what I want to ask. I got a question for you, Ryan. Mm-hmm. Kevin and I, we just, we talking to you. We're 1,000 miles away from you. Tell us what the energy was like in these buildings, on the sideline, during these Elite Eight. And I know some of these were Sweet 16 games. But what has Colorado showed you about your state over this basketball playoff season? Is the energy crazy? I mean, are y'all elevating to another level?
I mean, for some of the games, it's good energy. It's tough. I mean, when you have games start at 8:45 in the morning, you don't get the biggest draw of crowds. So the morning games, I mean, it's always fun to watch some basketball that's coming down. I mean, coming down to the close to the finals is going to be good teams. Environment's necessarily not the biggest thing down at the Denver Coliseum. I mean, obviously with having that all day thing, just the draw for crowds isn't the biggest at times, but those nighttime games, you get bigger crowds for those. So some of the Rainview versus Regis, I mean, the crowds really showed up both for those. There was a good environment in for that one. So those late night games are ones to watch out for if you get off work and want to go. I mean, on Friday or Wednesday through Friday, that's usually when more people will start rolling in.
So what can we expect on Saturday? Is this thing going to be a madhouse? Are we going to see?
Yeah, I think Saturday will be for sure.
It's going to be bananas. It's going to be bananas.
I think some of the games are like selling out. So if you make sure you buy your tickets online already in advance, if you haven't.
If you hadn't, you better buy your tickets.
Yeah, I've heard it's gonna be pretty packed on Saturday for finals day.
You are watching Inside Colorado Basketball, presented by Uprise Hoops. KT, Mouth of the South. We are Sports Life Talk. We're speaking and rocking with our guy, our correspondent up there in the box state, Ryan Garland of Colorado Hoops. Ryan, let's take it to the 6A side of the basketball, because you know what? I've always considered ourselves to be huge Fruita fans. We fell in love with Fruita last week with the coaches. They go and take on Thunder Ridge. They lose to Thunder Ridge. Thunder Ridge takes on Eagle Crest. So they have entered themselves into the Final Four. And then we were all excited about this block burner game, Valor Christian versus Ralston Valley. And just like the word I told y'all before, in order to beat a man, you got to beat the man. And guess what? Cold World. Woo! He is the man. And so we insert Valor into this thing, and they're going up against number one Rangeview, and then lastly but not leastly Mountain Vista. To me, this is an incredible playoff bracket, an incredible Final Four. I know it's easy for people to come on here and say their predictions and say what they want, but I really truly feel like this could go a lot of different ways. I feel like it could go a lot of different ways, and I also feel like each one of these teams can lay case to winning that crown come Saturday afternoon. We'll start off with the Rangeview Valor matchup. This is the one that's causing a lot of people some sleepless nights. I know I won't be sleeping until this thing goes down. What are your expectations for this matchup, my friend?
Ooh, it is going to be a dogfight. So you got the reigning champs coming in, Valor Christian going up against Rangeview, who hasn't lost a game yet this year, excuse me. And two of the top lead guards in the state, Cole Scher from Valor and LaDavian King from Rangeview going head-to-head. I mean, yeah, it's quite a matchup. I can't wait for that. It's going to be really fun to kind of different styles of play going up against each other. It's going to be very interesting to see what each team looks like and how that game, who wins that one. It's going to be quite a game, like I said, yeah.
Well, we got our heart broken twice this week because, we were rooting for Fruta to upset Thunder Ridge. We knew Coach told us it was going to be a tough one. Coach Wells too we knew it was going to be a tough one. But to see the Bricada family, we die hard with the Bricadas, and it looks as though that was a handily. They lost handily by 13 points. What happened in that matchup? What happened to my boys?
Yeah, I mean, it was. Cole and them have been to the Coliseum before, so I think it was a little bit of a level of comfortability at some points, and I think they did a good job, Valor, of pushing the pace a little bit more in this game than we've seen in past matchups where that when they get out in that open court, that's where Cole strives in decision-making, whether it's going downhill to take one myself or find a teammate. And their role guys, Ryan Mendez and Ryan Oblaskinski. Sorry, I don't know if I said that right, but Obla is what he goes by. Have really been playing well, stepping up into their roles. And those were some guys who people may have had questions about early in the season because they played last year, but maybe not as big, obviously not as big of a role as they did now. So seeing them step up around those guys at Valor has been huge. And then Rangeview, they're if you haven't seen them, they're deep. They have talent. 1 through 5 is like prospects. They're led by LaDavian King, who I touched on earlier, the senior guard. Super talented, super athletic, all around player. Next to him in the backcourt is Archie Weatherspoon, who's one of the top sophomores in the state. He's a 6'3" skilled player, can score from 3 levels. He's super interesting. They start another guard, Royce Edwards, who's been like the true PG for this team. He's averaging the most assists, just facilitates the ball. He's been playing really well. And then Kenny Knox Black, another senior on that group, energy guy, long wing, plays hard on defense. And then lastly in that starting group is Marcellus Duncan, the star freshman who balled out in that last game in the 2 overtimes. He just saw the matchup and decided to get down to the cup. Had I think 6 points in a row at one point. Quite impressive for a freshman to be doing that at the Coliseum. Not your average freshman for sure.
So I gotta ask this. So I'm a little bit confused. It's tough for me to look at somebody who just won the championship, who has the Gatorade Player of the Year, and they coming in as a 5th seed. But it almost sounds like they're the underdogs in this matchup. Kevin, do you agree with me, KT? Do it not sound like that Rangeview is the minus 200 in this matchup?
B. Jones, until next year, until I really get a full grasp of Colorado basketball, you already know the team I'm rocking with. But I do agree with you. They do seem like they're not underdogs, but my money is on the number 1 seed. And Valor, I apologize. I don't know a lot about y'all. I know y'all some dogs, but I'm rocking with the Fighting Palmers on this one, B.
I can't wait till they see you in real life, Kevin.
I'm not trying to give anybody bullet points here. I'm not trying to do that.
Too late. Ryan, like, God, no, he put his foot in it. I love that though, Casey. I love that energy. All right, let's go. So now let's take it to the south side of the bracket. Yeah. Eagle Crest versus Mountain Vista. Somebody must have told Mountain Vista that, hey, we like to see 1, 2, 3, 4. The Mouth of the South said he wanted to see 1, 2, 3, 4 matchups in the Final Four because Mountain Vista went out there and beat a chaparral. They literally dispatched of everybody that has came before them. But this is another one of them teams that have been playing good basketball, and it looked like they're playing whatever type of basketball that's needed, averaging over 80 points a playoff game. Yeah. And they get the pleasure of going up against the number 2 seed Eagle Crest, who's been highly praised. Now we had Matt Langley come on this thing for 2 weeks in a row. He told us that this Eagle Crest team is very impressive, and now we get this 2-6 matchup. Walk us through it, and how do we get to this point?
Yeah, I mean these are 2 deep groups. We'll start with where you start with Mountain Vista. They're led by senior guard Caleb Baskin, who, I mean, if you've seen him play, he's a tough shot maker. I mean that's what he does. He takes tough shots and he makes them at a good clip. And when shots are falling for Cal, it's going to be a tough game for you to slow him down. Because when a few go in, that basket just seems to get wider for him. And then down low with him, they got Oliver Junker, the big fella, who, I mean, frankly, he's looked like a man amongst boys a lot of times this year. Like, he's 6'8" and built, like, super built. And not just built, he gets up on that rim too. He's a good athlete. He's one of the most impressive big men in the state. Really been a matchup problem for them, and dominates the boards as well, pulling down like over 15 boards within the past like 4 games, something like that. And around them, they have a lot of really solid role players like Hudson Rooney, who's a big wing, around 6'4", shoots it well at a solid clip, and plays really good defense. Hunter Dell's been stepping up, kind of plays that 6-man role for them, and comes in and just plays defense. He doesn't really look to score the ball too much, but he was a big reason why those Chaparral guards got slowed down, because he was just pestering them. So yeah, that's a deep group, a well-coached group. Going against Eagle Crest, another, deep group. They got the transfer Anthony Nettles, who came over, who's really just been balling on a different level. He is a sneaky defender. Like, he'll look like he's not paying attention, just get a hand up in the passing lane. And then offensively, he's super crafty, shoots the ball well, gets acrobatic finishes around the rim. He's been super impressive, especially that last game at the Coliseum. And then they got a group of wings and forwards, seniors who are really solid, play their role well. Lucas Kalimba, around 6'4", 6'5", solid frame. He had quite a few good putbacks last game. LaQuince York, around that same height. Switchable defender, rebounds well. And then Gavin Gallegos played well last game, around 6'6", bigger forward. Another guy who plays really good defense within their system. And then they have a sophomore who's really talented, Chris Coleman, around 6'4", good athlete. So he brings a good presence for them off the bench. And then lastly, the big fella who had the huge dunk last game, that put back over the defense that really shifted the momentum in the game, Garrett Barger. He's been balling. The big fella down low, around 6'9", lengthy guy. He's one to watch out for sure in this Final Four.
Kevin, they got 6'8", 6'9" monsters out there in Colorado. Wow. So here's the moment. This is where it's going to get kind of tough. Eagle Crest is the number 2 seed. Mountain Vista is that 6 seed. They've upset some teams to get there. Tell us how Tell us how Eagle Crest wins this game, and then give us that route for Mountain Vista to upset.
So for Eagle Crest, I would say biggest thing is slowing down Caleb Baskin, right? Taking him out of his flow. When his shots are falling, like I said earlier, it's tough to slow that Mountain Vista group down. And then also managing Junker, making sure he's not getting too many second chance opportunities for Mountain Vista. Vice versa, other way. I mean, yeah, taking Nettles out of the game, doing your best to slow his facilitating and getting down to the basket, making sure Oliver Junker's coming over on that help side. And then, I mean, both of them, it's a defensive matchup, right? Just preparing for those guys like Barger. It's tough to prepare for both of these groups because they're so deep and have guys that step up who, you may not expect on different nights. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to be put in the spot to have that task because that would be tough for sure.
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot. So you got that task. Who wins this game? Who wins this game?
Oh, that's tough, man. That's so tough. I'll take Vista in a close one. I think rolling in, taking that win against Chap is a really big one. So having the momentum coming in, I think they can make some noise against Eagle Crest.
Kevin, what about you? I'm going to let you make a prediction, Kevin. You don't have any feelings in this one. So, Kevin, who do you got? Eagle Crest versus Mountain Vista, man. 2 versus number 6.
Man, just looking at the scores, the first round, Eagle Crest, they were kind of battle tested in the first 2 rounds. The third round, they found their stride. So, B. Joe, I'm going 1 versus 2 on this one.
Oh, Kevin, I think you just won a 1 versus 2 matchup. Well, y'all had it. So what that means is y'all both got some predictions left to be made. Kevin, 1 versus 2, Eagle Crest versus Ranger. Who you got in the championship game, sir?
First of all, I want a very competitive game. And in the end, I am rooting for the Fighting Palmers, B. Jones.
Oh, my God.
For Rangeview.
I like it, Kevin. I like it. All right, Ryan Garland, the opinion that really matters in this joint. These kids all over the state, these coaches watching you, and they want you to give their name. Who you got? Who wins this championship in the 6A?
I just can't go against my guy. I got back-to-back Valor Christian, Cole Scherer leading the way. He's been here before. I think he can do it again back-to-back.
Yeah, Kevin, he got Cole Scherer.
Ryan is trying to get kicked off the show, Pete Jones. That's all it is. But, I respect his opinion.
I can't go against my guy. I just can't. He's done this. He does it. That playoff run he had last year, he shows that he does this. And that game, last game against Ralston Valley, who came into the season number 1 seed, he had 28 against them. Showed everyone,
Yikes!
But, I mean, it's going to be a tough battle if they got to beat Rangeview and then another team. So
I love it.
Quite a road.
Ryan, I'm willing to put a quarter on that one. Quarter bet. Rangeview. I ain't going no more than a quarter because you know how this money is. Yeah. Definitely. Let's go.
Oh, that's soft. They talk about a
Big
quarter.
bet.
Times is hard. We got to make it
At
two.
least put a dinner on it or something, man. Come on,
We
man.
got to make it to Colorado first.
All right, here we go. Let's get to the 5A programs. I call 5A total anarchy. This thing has just gotten out of hand. The only teams that I guess was supposed to be there that we anticipated being there is going to be number 2 Mesa Ridge. Lutheran goes down in the Sweet 16. You got Green Mountain, who is peaking, have literally taken on everybody. Included a Sandy Creek team who was upsetting people. It's just madness. There's no method to what's going on. It's upsets. It's bad ranking. It's a lot of different things going on in 5A. But let's break down this 16 Green Mountain versus 21 Falcon. And I know on very good authority, you have thought high of Falcon all year long.
Yes, sir. Yep. Yeah, I had them ranked up in the top 10 at least at one point. Yeah, they're a group. They're led by my guy Tyler Cox down there, who's been playing really well. 6'5" wing, good athlete. Who, if you saw our top 5 plays at one point, he had 2 posters in 1 week, so made the top 5 plays with that. So above the rim athlete. He's got 2 of his classmates around him who have been playing really well. Jeremiah Potts, smaller guard, but really quick, plays super hard. And then Christian Burloff, I think is how you say it. He's around 6'3", 6'4", bulkier player who just plays down low well, battles on the boards, can go down and battle with some big dudes if you need him to, or go out and guard a wing. And then they have another guy, lengthier guy, sophomore Isaac Lane, who's been playing really well. showing some stretch or flashes of upside. So they're an interesting group who's come in and made some noise. Obviously, showing that they were deserving of a higher seed than the 21.
Yeah, so. That's what I was going to ask you. So, is the 21 just bogus? Are we really looking at a top 10, top 8 team that should have been?
Yeah, closer. I'd say closer to top 10, around there. I think their league just wasn't valued as much for some reason. Them and Sand Creek came out of the same league, and both were teams who had solid records. So I think both of them should have been ranked higher. I think favoritism, or not favoritism, just, people thinking other leagues were better than they were in that 5A. So, those two teams showed that those Springs teams can play that, and people may not have expected them to.
Let's break down Green Mountain, because Green Mountain is another 16, another double-digit seed team, but in reality, Matt Langley sat on this thing. He sat on this show and he said, y'all got to be careful because Green Mountain has a player that hasn't played all year. He's healthy now. Probably, he said he's just not getting the stride. This dude is an uber athlete, and he's going and knocked off the number 1 team in Lutheran, knocked off Sand Creek, and now we're headed to the point where they are in the Final Four. And once again, they playing up against another team that some may predict them that they shouldn't win against a tough Falcon team. Well, tell us a little bit about Green Mountain team, and I'm going to let you go and make your prediction on this game.
Yeah, so Green Mountain is led by who you were saying before. That's Simon Lunsford, who is out for a good amount of the season. Excuse me. About 6'5" wing, like you were saying, really good athlete, can get downhill. He was the big difference maker in that Lutheran game. They just really didn't have a matchup for him. Was a big reason why they weren't able to slow down that Green Mountain squad. And then around him, they got these twins, the Swanson twins, who are around the same height as Simon and shorter, right, like 6'4", who play solid defense at that length, so makes them a tough group to go against, score buckets against. And then the lead guard is Trey Gutierrez. He's a strong guard, strong handle on the ball, plays his role really well. So those four make them super intriguing. And then lastly, they have Sam Milenez, who's knockdown shooter, sophomore. And when he gets going, similar guy to what I was saying before with Cal Baskin, he can really see that hoop open up and pour in quite a few baskets in a row.
All right, so it's that time. Green Mountain versus Falcon. Who plays on Saturday?
I'm gonna go with Falcon for the Cinderella story. I love that, having the 21 seed go all the way to the finals would be amazing.
I think if you knock off the number 1 team, we better show some respect on your name. So I'm going with Green Mountain. Since they showing me that they are a superior basketball school, I'm gonna go with Green Mountain in this one. Kevin, you got a prediction?
I'm going with Green Mountain too. You just don't beat the number 1 seed and just
we forget about it.
Yeah. You got to finish your story, so I'm going Green Mountain.
Look, they like, how they gonna have an opinion on something that's going on? All right, Ryan, here we go. Mesa Ridge versus Windsor. Mesa Ridge is the only team that, by the numbers, by the RPI that y'all told us was supposed to be here. Windsor has done it the hard way, popped off of a number 3 Dakota Ridge team, as well as some other big time wins. Break down this matchup for us. So who are some of the players to watch on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, so Mesa Ridge coming in, as you said, like that favorite team. We had Colorado Hoops ranked up at our number 1 seed coming in, and they won. The last 2 years, I believe, at 5A, led by Bryce and then his brother who graduated, who's now at Colorado Mesa. Those two were just two of the top competitors to recently come out of Colorado Springs, for being honest. Great shooters, they're two-way players, and then Bryce still being there now has been able to kind of make it, I guess, more of his team built around him. And man, he's been one of my favorite competitors to watch throughout my time in Colorado. Really plays hard, has like some streaks of shooting where it's just like, it's like, how is he making those shots? Like, he's really good shooter, plays on both ends. And they have some other guys around him who bring that good culture of like defensive grittiness. Jamarius Jones, guard who's around 6'1", really plays some good defense. Brian Lamar didn't play as much that last game, but he comes in off the bench, a good wing piece for them. Xander Iwanowski, who's I believe a football guy, bulkier, 6'4", plays his role really well, boxes out, understands angles, and can shoot the ball a little bit. So they have guys who understand their roles, and then, one of the top players in 5A. So that's a recipe for success in my mind. That's why we had them ranked up at that number 1 spot. And then going against them is Windsor, who came out and beat that Dakota Ridge team, which was a good upset for them to go out and get. They're led by Madden Spidley, 6'2" lefty guard, junior, who's really been playing well, shown his ability to make tough shots, put his team on his back in that pass game. And then next to him, who stepped up, was his classmate Brady Kingsley, who's a smaller guard, but really did a good job of, teams know that he's going to be a shooter, but he uses that he's either catch and shoot or attacking those closeouts with his super quick first step to create a scoring opportunity for himself or others. So impressed by those two's play. And then Cadiz Keyworth, I believe is how you say it. Point guard for them, been playing well, facilitating the ball, had quite a few flashy passes last game that were impressive in that end stretch. And then John Bachhaus, he does the dirty work for this team, around 6'4", 6'5". He's like a wing, but plays a forward for them just because he has to, because he's that tallest guy. And man, he's bought into that role this year, and had to face some bigger dudes and doesn't mind doing it. So Bachhaus has been playing really well. And speaking of bigger dudes, I missed one guy on the Mesa Ridge who really played well, and that's Isaiah Lucas. He transferred from a different school, so he had to sit JV for half the season. But ever since he's came back, he's been a true difference maker for that group, putting up around, I think, like over 10 points a game. But the big thing with him, he's the defensive communicator for that group on the back line, telling guys where they need to be, help side, and all that good stuff. So been really impressed with his game lately. It's gonna be a dogfight. Two traditionally good programs in the Final Four.
Well, I hate to put you in the spot, but I already know what Kevin gonna vote. I already know where I'm gonna vote because we got personal feelings. Shout out to Madden Smiley and Coach Smiley over there at Windsor. Well, I know Coach Smiley is at UNC, but shout out to the Smiley family.
Yes, sir.
Who do you have in this game, Ryan? Mesa Ridge, Windsor. One can make it. One has to go home.
It's really a tough decision because it's two of the top guards in the state going head to head. So kind of like what you were saying before, I guess if you take those two out of it, who has the better team around them? I think Mesa Ridge is going to do it. They're our number 1 coming into the 5A playoffs, and they've got that winning culture. They've been here before. Bryce has been here before. A few of those other guys have been around this environment, that culture. So Mesa Ridge, the number 2 seed, moving on.
Falcon, Mesa Ridge. It's gonna look weird on paper because you're gonna have number 21 versus number 2. This thing gonna look like David versus Goliath, even though we know that that's not quite the truth. Call it. Let's go. Tell us who wins this game. Who will be the 5A state champion this 2025 basketball season?
People can call me boring for I chose Valor last time, and I'm going to choose Mesa Ridge this time. I think the winning culture, teams that have been here before, that experience really helps. I'm gonna go with Bryce Real and Mesa Ridge.
I got no problem with the safe picks. That's why I got my partner, my boy, my PIC, who can say some crazy stuff on the air. Kevin, who you calling this thing for?
All right, Windsor, isn't that like a casino? Isn't that a casino? I'm putting all my chips in the middle. I'm putting all my money.
Okay.
Windsor.
I know the Windsor team is laughing right now, but we ain't playing. We got you. I'm gonna be the real underdog in this thing. I got Green Mountain. I got Simon Lunsford.
We all got different picks.
I got Simon Lunsford and that team upsetting Mesa Ridge in the championship. I'm rooting for Smiley, but man, it sounds like that number 2 seed is well deserving. That don't sound like it was a Fugazi ranking. It sounds like they the real deal. When you start talking about 6'5" and all that kind of talent, I got to go with that side.
I'd even say they'd be percent. I mean, in my mind, deserving of a 1 seed after the season they had. They only lost 1 game, which was the season. So.
Let's go, Simon. Don't let me down, baby. Let's go. All right, here we go. We got to finish this thing up with the small schools. Are the small schools for boys playing the crazy schedule the same way?
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness! So these kids, this is going to be very interesting. Which team can play the best 3-game run of their whole entire season? But break down the 4A, 3A, and small schools for us.
I got you. 4A and 3A. I'll kick it off the bat. I think both of these. I'm not going to say both of these divisions are decided, but they're very, very clear favorites in both of these divisions. In 4A, Kent Denver. They are very tough, not built like any other 4A team. They got led by junior Caleb Fay, who's a 6'6" guard, one of the top players in the class of 2026. And then they have other guys like Gil Shays, who's committed to go to Colorado Mines next year, 6'5" wing/forward type player. And then Elvis Lloyd, who's been kind of a sleeper guy for me, unsigned senior, around 6'2", really good athlete. Can shoot it as well. I mean, those 3 is their main trio, but they play a lot of guys because if you haven't seen Kent Denver play or heard of Coach Todd Shays, they play a run and gun type style where they're just pushing the pace. And with this group, it's been working really well. They've beat teams like Arapahoe this year, who's been a good 6A team, and they didn't have Caleb in that game, who's their best player. So they're a battle tested team. One of their big losses I'll touch on was to the 3A favorites, Resurrection Christian, who we'll talk about soon. But yeah, I think Kent is the team to beat. I'd have a hard time seeing anyone beat them in 4A, if I'm being honest. And then in 3A, Resurrection Christian up in Loveland. I mean, if you look at this group, they don't look like a 3A team. They have outside of Ty Yoder, who's a 6-foot guard, really good, one of the top lead guards in the state. Around him, they got 6'2", 6'4", I think it's 2 6'6" guys down low. So that for small school classification is a huge team. So they just slow down teams. They're like on the defensive end, tough to score against them. And then offensively, just a really well-coached group by Ryan Yoder up there in Loveland. Even though 3A, I mean, is some of the best, some of the most competitive outside of Resurrection Christian that it has been. Like, I think it's going to be all these other grade A games are going to be very, very tough games. Like,
but wait a minute though. But I gotta give 3A credit. I don't know what the RPI got it right with 3A. Would you say? I mean, look at this. We got a 1-8 matchup, 5-4 matchup, 2-7 matchup, and a 3-6 match. I mean, that's how this thing's supposed to play out. Now, I mean, I'm sure that Highland wants to knock off Strasburg, or vice versa with some of these other schools, but literally this bracket is played off to where we got a true 1 through 8 top 8 teams per the ranking all going up against each other.
Yeah, and I'm gonna dive into a few of these 3A schools because I think these schools outside of Res is actually going to be very competitive. We got the game between Centauri and Yuma. Centauri, who I touched on the girls' side. I mean, both sides of their basketball has just been really good recently. They're led by a senior duo, Carson Bagwell and Trace Howards, who've really been balling out this year. Both of those guys are 6'3", and if you see them play, I mean, in the past, Centauri has been known for being a team that slows you down and really plays defense. This year, that's not the identity for this team. I mean, these guys have been running out, gunning against teams, going out to score a bunch of points. Those two have really been balling out, both 6'3" guards, good athletes. They're a really interesting group, and they're going to face the defending champs, Yuma, who are led by Brody Sheffield, who's been playing really well. He can light it up from outside. Skilled player, skilled guard, led them to win last year. So that's a tough group to take down for Centauri. And then Windsor Charter Academy has been playing really well. They're in that Patriot League. That's just absolute gauntlet of a league in 3A. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams in the grade 8 from that one league. So that's quite a gauntlet of a league. And they came out, I believe, as the second season, that team as in that league behind Resurrection Christian. They got some guys like Dayton Long, the sophomore, who's 6'2", good athlete. Andrew Shams, the junior, around 6'2" as well. He plays. I like his playing style. Plays off of 2 well. Gets other guys involved. That group's interesting. They're heading up against Skyview Academy, who they're an interesting group. I mean, they come in as a 7 seed. They haven't faced as much competition as these guys from the Patriot League, but they're led by Marcus Lloyd, the senior, who's a good athlete, can get going from outside. So that's going to be an interesting game as well. And then to finish it off, Highland and Strasburg is kind of a little bit of rivalry between these small towns out east. Strasburg led by the senior Tice Bowlers, who's been playing really well, 6'1" guard. His confidence from shooting it outside has been fun to watch this year. He's been hitting some deep shots. And then Highlands led by Sawyer Morgan, the senior. He's around 6'3", and sometimes looks like his game is sporadic, but he gets the job done. Can score at the rim really well, can hit some outside shots. Those 2 teams had a match this year where Strasburg won pretty convincingly, so Highland's going to be looking for their revenge.
And listen, I'm a big Jimmy's versus Jimmy's and Joe's versus X's and O's type of guy. I know that you just got to have some pure athletes and players. And I just looked over Strasburg roster and Yuma's roster, and I'm just going to tell you straight up, I'm seeing 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", and I'm seeing teams that have some incredible size going into this for 3A basketball. That's scary season. That's going to be very interesting to see who can make this 5-day stretch really work for them into their advantage and get a lot of guys on the court so they can be fresh for 11:45 a.m. come Saturday morning.
Yeah, definitely. It's like an AAU weekend stretch that a lot of these teams are going to have, and the odd morning games as well. So. Good luck to them on the stretch. It should be fun. I think that 3A group that's a ton of fun. Those games are going to be a ton of fun to watch. Unfortunately, it's at the same time as the big schools on Thursday, which doesn't make me too happy that I can't go watch that. Well, because I have to choose between the 2 and be at the big school stuff just because numbers, So I'll be trying to watch that stuff online though. That 3A group, I mean, as I said before, it's going to be super competitive. Outside, I think Rez is the favorites.
Well, we can't wait to see all of them. Any last players to watch? Anything from 1A, 2A that we need to be prepared for?
Yeah, 2A, I'll say the favorites out in there, the 2 teams to watch out for are Crowley County and Simla, both from southeast Colorado. Crowley County has a senior, Gunnar Hughes, who's a good player on 6'5" wing. Simla has a really good sophomore, Tatum Koshuera, 6'6" wing, plays some good basketball, has some highlight dunks. And then 1A, the favorites, I would say McClave are the team to beat. They got a big fella, Tough Kelly, and some good players around him. So they're the team to beat, both 1A boys and girls, so watch out for them.
I don't know what to say, Kevin. I told y'all there's something going on. I got the hair on the back of my neck rose up. I'm ready to watch some basketball. I'm ready to root for some amazing plays. It sounds like we got size, we got great coaching, we got athletic, we got everything. The recipe for a Disney movie is done, ladies. This will be a movie. Shout out to the state of Colorado. Y'all have done it big. Ryan, we about to get out of here. It's been a fun breakdown to the Final Four. I'm going to leave you with the last word, sir. You got anything you want to say to close this thing out?
Yeah, just best of luck to everyone this weekend. Can't wait to watch some championship basketball and see who comes out on top in each of these classifications.
Well, regardless of who comes out on top, as we've journeyed through this playoff bracket from the beginning to the end, we fell in love with some players who lost. We fell in love with some teams that may not have made it here, but the performances have just been all over the place. I mean, y'all have been absolutely amazing, and shout out to y'all. Kevin, it's been another good breakdown. We just sound like the next thing for us to do is pack our bags. So we'll see you guys on Saturday in the Coliseum. Let's go. Kevin, I got goosebumps. I say that, and I wish I'm gonna start rolling up my sleeves. I'm cutting the sleeves off my hoodie so folks can start seeing the hairs on my arm rise up when we talk about some of these amazing matchups and games. But I know I saw your face in that interview, Kevin. You looked a little disappointed about Ralston Valley. Are you still?
It just hurts when you see family go down, and I know we're trying to build more family members in Colorado, but for the ones that come on this show, you can't help but feel for them, B. Jones. So,
I can't either. Man, I'm just so glad to be a part of this journey and thankful so much for Uprise bringing us in. Colorado, y'all have embraced us. We've got nothing but love from the state. We appreciate y'all so much. Can't wait to see each and every one of y'all out there at the games, at the tournaments, whether it be this year or next. We coming. We promise y'all. We coming up there to rock with y'all and to witness some of this stuff go down on 94 feet of fury. But with that being said, Kevin, you want to make any last predictions before we get off here? Before we get off of this thing today?
To the Fighting Palmers.
Good luck.
Rooting for y'all. To one of my favorite players in the nation, Miss Bree Crittenden. And I'm just
Sienna, Cole Shire. I mean, it's some dope players.
You asked me mine, so I was giving you mine, B. Jones. But to everybody, go out, have a good game. Stay healthy. Be safe, and we will see y'all soon.
We're going to see y'all super soon. And listen, we're going to get out of here. Thank y'all for watching Inside Colorado Basketball, presented by Uprise Hoops. Remember, y'all visit Uprise Hoops at uprisehoops.com today. They have a mission. It is to help players and teams rise to the highest level through showcase events, recruiting, representation, consultation, player development. They are in for it all. They're doing an amazing job. We've been talking playoffs, but every single person for the first 4 weeks of this episode, first 4 episodes, have done nothing but talk about the impact of Uprise Hoops. So y'all go check out some of the amazing guests. He's talking about the Palmers. We've had them on here. So, and we got so many more guests planned on for the postseason. So y'all buckle up. This show is just getting started. Listen, if you want to be somewhere tomorrow, you're not where you want to be today. Y'all visit uprisehoops.com. Get to where you want to be by visiting Uprise Hoops and let them help your journey, your basketball journey, and take you to that whole nother level. Listen, we love y'all. We're going to see y'all next week. And when we talk next time, we'll be talking about championships. Bling, bling. Every time I come around your city, bling, bling. Hey, I love this show. We love y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Come on, family. On the count of 3. Y'all know how we go home. 3, 2, 1. Yeet.